Important question. I'm going to come to that and ask Anil Singh that question of bringing a new law, whether it's required from Parliament side. But Dr. Ranganathan, there's a very important point being made by him. He says that what is the end to this? Because we have seen how the Place of Worship Act had an exception made only for Ayodhya. Now they would be required, for some kind of a legal change, if at all exceptions have to be made otherwise, unless the courts rule. But the larger question is this, that even Mohan Bhagwat has come out to say that don't go looking for temples under mosques. So is there a valid point being made here by Vivek Silas? And how long will this go on is also a question that others are asking.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, I was moved to tears watching recently that lawyer Dushyant Dave crying like a baby, like some other congressmen also on the Sambal Mosque survey, blaming the ex-Chief Justice for not exercising Places of Worship Act on every place of worship. I was moved to tears because I could not believe that this man could be a lawyer. How on earth did he manage to fool our judicial system and don the robe and defend clients? Has he even read the act? Madhav, this is not about a particular mosque or about what Dr. Mohan Bhagwat says or what my good brother Vivek Silas is saying. The end of this all is justice. This is not about Sambal in this case, or that enough historical references exist that mention this mosque was built by Babar at a place where the temple venerating Kalki stood. No, this is about a legal claim. Are we a democracy or not? This is about the Places of Worship Act 1991 and Act, quote, to prohibit conversion of any place of worship and to provide for the maintenance of the religious character of any place of worship as it existed on the 15th day of August 1947. But here is the caveat, and this is what the conceited Dushyant Dave and congressmen do not mention. This act does not apply to any place of worship which is an ancient and historical monument or an archaeological site or remains covered by the Amara or Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, unquote. Now it is but obvious that the Sambal Mosque is an ancient and historical monument. It's covered by the Amara Act, and therefore the Places of Worship Act should not apply to it. But point number two, here is the tragedy. A legal recourse to correct historical injustices cannot be denied in a democracy. And if they are denied, then we are not living in a democracy. Madhav, history written by the victors is peddled by the vanquished, and we remain vanquished. To me, the Places of Worship Act is one of the most barbaric legislations ever enacted in India. Historical injustices that are not covered by Amara can now never be addressed unless the parliament overrides it. Quote, no place of worship usurped or built upon another place of worship shall be allowed to be used as one unless its ownership is rightfully settled in a court of law, unquote. This, according to me, should be the real Places of Worship Act. As simple as that. Single sentence. And this is not a Hindu issue, Madhav. If a mosque had been demolished by a Hindu king and a temple built on it, I, a kafir and a Darwinian atheist for whom Islam sanctions death penalty, would have fought for the rights of Muslims to legally get back their mosque. Finally, on this thing about where would this stop? Wasn't Ram Janambhoomi enough for you Hindus? This facetious argument amuses me, especially when it comes from those who want all historical injustices around the world outside of India corrected. Madhav, the one hallmark of justice is that it has to be applied universally. Okay. Because when one goes by logic, morality, first principles, objectivity, as science and law teach us to do, numbers do not matter. 4 or 40 or 40,000, each and every cry for justice must be heard. But when one goes by fear, emotion, coercion, subjectivity, numbers matter. Decide where you stand. That is the problem out here. And as for Vivekji saying, we have to work for harmony. Harmony will be disturbed every day, 5 times a day. When you say there is no other deity to be worshipped except Allah through the azan, is harmony not disturbed?
Asif Sohail, I think one of the important points being made here by Dr. Anand Ranganathan is, what about those places where there may be a situation where a mosque has been replaced by a temple? If that is the case indeed, why not determine it? He says that he will stand by you and fight for you if that is indeed the case. क्या जवाब देंगे आप इन्हें?
माधव, मैं जवाब दूंगा इन्हें. देखिए, वो पहले अपने लिए ठहरे, बाकी दूसरे हम है देखने के लिए. देखिए, मैं कोई सर्वे को नहीं मानता हूं, मैं संविधान को मानता हूं. संविधान में जो लिखा गया है, स्पेशल वर्शिप एक्ट के बारे में, उसे मानता हूं। देखिए, ना इस मुल्क का कोई कानून या न्यायालय, प्रधानमंत्री इस संविधान से कोई बड़ा नहीं है। देखिए, 500 साल पुरानी मस्जिद हो या 800 साल पुरानी दरगाह हो, उसके ऊपर उंगली उठाएंगे तो बहुत गलत बात है ये। देखिए, कब तक जो सो आप ये लोगों को जो सो अनरस करने की कोशिश करेंगे, इससे कोई हासिल होने वाला नहीं है। ये सिर्फ डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है मौजूदा हुकूमत की, महंगाई के तरफ से, नाकामी और नौकरियों की तरफ से, रोजगार के लिए जो सो नौजवानों को। मैं खुली उससे बोल रहा हूं, कोई सर्वे अर्वे को हम नहीं मानते हैं, हम संविधान को मानते हैं। संविधान में जो लिखा है, मसाजिदों को, हमारे बारगाहों को।
आसिफ जी, कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को मौजूदा हुकूमत से क्यों आप लिंक कर रहे हैं?
सुनने दीजिए सर, मैं वही बोल रहा हूं। अरे सर, मेरी बात सुनिए सर। देखिए, वो पिटीशन में क्या लिखा गया है, राइट टू एक्सेस लिखा गया है, सर्वे नहीं बोला। मस्जिद में कौन रोक रहा है आने के लिए? आप सबका हम आपका स्वागत कर रहे हैं, आप भी आइए। हम सारे आरएसएस को
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है आसिफ जी। आसिफ जी, एएसआई की रिपोर्ट, एक सेकंड मेरी बात सुन लीजिए। आसिफ जी, मेरी एक सेकंड बात सुनिए। एएसआई रिपोर्ट में साफ तौर पे लिखा गया है कि जून, इस साल के जून में, one second, Asif Sohail, listen to me. I am telling you, I am countering what a point that you are being made, that you are making on the channel. Very clearly, ASI has written that they were blocked, not once but multiple times. सर्वे के लिए मॉस्क के अंदर जाना अलाउड नहीं था। एक तरफ तो कहा जा रहा है ये प्रोटेक्टेड मॉन्यूमेंट है, और फिर एएसआई को ही अंदर अलाउ नहीं किया जा रहा। आप कह रहे सबका स्वागत है, ऐसा नहीं है। एएसआई की रिपोर्ट है ये कहते हुए।
सर, ये देखिए, राइट टू एक्सेस का क्या मतलब है? मस्जिद में आने से किसी को नहीं रोकते हैं सर। देखिए, मसाजिद में हर किसी को, आप 800 साल पुरानी ख्वाजा गरीब,
आप बहुत जेनेरिक बात कर रहे हैं। बात संभल की स्पेसिफिक केस के बारे में बता रहा हूं मैं आपको।
सिख, ईसाई हर कोई आता है, संभल भी है। मैंने मेरी बात कर रहा हूं, मैं संभल में भी बोल रहा हूं सर। मसाजिद में किसी को नहीं रोका जाता। हमारा मजहब अमन का, मोहब्बत का मजहब है। हम हर किसी को आने देते हैं, चाहे वो एएसआई हो या चाहे वो आरएसएस हो या बीजेपी हो, सबको हमारी मस्जिद में हम आने की इजाजत देते हैं। सर, ऐसा नहीं होता है। राइट टू पिटीशन की, आप जो पिटीशन डाला गया है, राइट टू एक्सेस, आपको ऑर्डर क्या दिया जाता है? सर्वे का। वो भी सुबह में आप पिटीशन फाइल करते हैं, शाम तक ऑर्डर आता है, पुलिस रेडी होती है और वहां पे अटैक हो जाता है। इसका क्या मतलब है सर, बताइए आप।
Okay, it's all a pre-planned strategy. A petition is filed, orders are immediately given, survey immediately happens. It's all a pre-planned strategy according to him.